Today is about the power of you. You will change the world.
Welcome to Turning Point with Patrice Williams.
We can be whatever we dream.
Enhance the way you think about successful entrepreneurship, empowerment, and politics to live your best life.
Fulfill the highest, truest expression of yourself.
And now your host, the authentic, impactful influencer and coalition builder, Patrice Williams. Go!
Hello, hello, hello. This is Patrice Williams with Turning Point. I missed you guys, but I'm coming to you today with one of my friends. I'm always running my friends through here, but I can't help it. I have some of the best friends ever, and I want them to be your friends too. Today, we are talking about being prepared before the disaster. We're going to be looking at auto and home insurance. We want to make sure that you are not underassured. And who do we have today? We have my Seroptimus sister. We have my Jack and Jill mom sponsor, and my good friend Alicia Cook. She is the owner of Alicia Cook State Farm. Let me bring her on the stage. Hello.
Hello, everybody. Good morning. Good morning.
How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing today?
Good. I miss seeing you.
I know. And giving hugs, virtual hugs.
We would go from seeing each other all the time
Exactly.
to seeing each other never.
Through a video.
Oh my goodness. You know, when I was thinking about insurance and auto and home insurance and thinking about, do we have enough insurance? I thought of you because I love that you have this approach to business and to educate. And I just was amused because I was just like, Lisa, what do you think is, your secret sauce? And you were like, because we educate. So tell us a little bit more about that.
So I know, State Farm Insurance, and if they're the category we're put into are sales agents. But I was telling Patrice, even when I hire my team, I don't look for sales people. So we're really what I'm aiming to do in our agency, and I train my team to do, is we just want to educate our clients. I see us more as educators than as salespeople. So we want to educate you, make sure you know what you're purchasing and why you're purchasing it and what your needs are. So we help expose what your needs are and give you all the information so you can make an informed decision on what needs you best want to cover and protect.
Right. And I was also telling you that I thought your secret sauce is customer service. When I call you all, you call back so fast, it's a little weird. Like I leave a message in minutes and I'm like, hello?
And now with our new technology, I always tell my clients, however you want us to reach you. So, I have younger clients that don't want phone calls. They only want text. And then, so you can text us, email us, message me.
Right. So you meet customers where they are.
Yep.
I love it. So now, would you like for people to kind of grab their auto policy and their home policy, or?
Yeah. I think that's a great idea. Because a lot of times we get them in the mail and then we just shuffle them to the side. And then when something happens is when we're pulling it out and it's like, oh no, what do I have coverage for?
Right.
So that would be a good idea if you have that available, or pull it up on your phone. If your, insurance company has, you have access on your phone, pull up your coverages, and so we can walk through it and you can kind of get a better idea of what you are paying for.
Right. Okay. So while people go get that, I'm going to tell the audience a little bit about you. Is that okay?
That's fine. That's fine.
Awesome. So we're going to be talking about being prepared before the disaster strikes. And we're going to be talking about auto and home insurance. About Alicia Cook. Alicia Cook is a proud graduate of the University of San Francisco, where she earned a Bachelor's of Science degree in Business Administration. Upon completing her degree in 1992, she began her career with State Farm Insurance as a fire claim adjuster and served as a member of the disaster response team. Later, Alicia transitioned to a casualty unit where she assisted State Farm clients with liability and litigation claims and went on to become an agency field specialist. Finally, she ended up in her current career as a State Farm insurance agent serving clients throughout California. In addition to running her own agency, Alicia is a proud member of the Vallejo Chamber of Commerce, the Solano County Black Chamber of Commerce, Seroptimus International Vallejo, and the Greater Vallejo chapter of Jack and Jill of America. With each organization, she serves the local business community, supports youth, and provides resources to women and girls locally and internationally. When Alicia is not working, she loves spending time with her husband, Darius, and their 3 daughters, Daria, 24, Ashley, 24, the twins, and Aaliyah, who is 12. And let me give your website, www.aliciacook.net. And you are located at 2002 Springs Road in Vallejo, 94591 707 644 5225. How did I do?
Perfect. You got it all.
My goodness, we are looking at your bio. We are connected so many ways. It's not just right. We sit on the Solano County Black Chamber Board together too.
Yes.
We've been connected for a very long time.
We have been.
Yay. So we
birds of a feather flock together, right?
You know, that is true. That is true. You know what I love about your bio too? It really captures who you are, not just your experience, but you do have a passion for youth, and you live that through your life. I remember calling you a few times and saying, Alicia, we're doing this youth campaign. You was like, come get some money, come get some
goodie bags.
Get goodie bags. You're working with the little kids. I got some crayons. You was like, what do you need? Come get it right now.
That's right.
So
I guess
anyway,
that's the teacher in me.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
I love that about you. I love that about you. Okay, let's jump in. People are going to get their policies, or maybe they're not. Maybe they're just going to watch and do the replay later.
Right.
And let's do it. Let's get into your presentation.
Okay.
I can't wait.
All right, let me get this started. I'll present my screen here.
Okay.
And start. So today we're just going to have a simple conversation.
Yes.
Does that look okay on your end? I can't see it on this end.
Let's see.
Okay, Patrice.
Okay, I think it's opening now. I can see we're being nosy. We're all looking to see what you got.
Sorry. A simple conversation.
Yes.
Okay. So, when I talk to my clients, and that's just how I look at it. Let's just have a simple conversation of where we are today. And do you know what your coverages are? You're paying most of us are paying insurance each month for something. And the worst time to find out what you have or don't have is when you need it. Because at that point in time, you cannot make any changes. So this is how I look at when I'm working with my clients and we're doing a simple conversation with them, kind of look at your pyramid of needs. Obviously, we're not going to touch on all of this today, but as we know, when we're working with a pyramid, the bottom of your pyramid is your base. If you don't have your risks properly protected, then it's hard for you to continue on going up your pyramid and living your dreams and establishing your legacy. So if you look at the bottom of the pyramid, can you see that okay, Kate Patrice?
Well, it's a little small, but I wear readers, so
Okay.
that could be nothing.
So I'll just read at the bottom of the pyramid. The main things that we want to look at that you are protected is your property and liability. And when I say that, that's what we're talking about, and that's what we're mostly going to talk about today. Is your home. Your home, is that properly protected? Your autos, are those properly protected? And your liability. So we're going to get into a little more detail about those items. And then also, and I'm a huge believer, is because not all of us own homes yet. But if you live in a home, and you're renting it from somebody, or you live in an apartment and you're renting it, do you have your renter's insurance? So we're going to go into that a little bit more detail.
Okay.
Also at the bottom of the risk, we're not going to touch on them today, but I'm just going to talk about it real quick. So it's premature death. Are you protected there? Your disability, if you ever became disabled for any reason, your health care, your long-term care, having an emergency savings plan, managing your debt, and if you own a business. And especially with this pandemic, a lot of us have, opening businesses, running businesses from our home. And a lot of us might not know that there's additional protection that you might need if you have decided to do that. So,
Right.
the biggest thing in insurance is aggravation versus devastation. And so when I say that, a lot of times when we get calls in or we're doing quotes, people are just like, well, of course you're going to want the cheapest price. But I always say, when we're protecting, what we said is at the bottom of that pyramid so that we can live our dreams and establish our legacies. It's more than just the cheapest price. And really what I want to look at is, are you getting the best value for your insurance? So, we can look at, a lot of times people will look at, well, I just want the California minimums, 1535. And you don't even know what that is. But a lot of times if you're calling an 800 number to get a quote on your auto insurance, you say, I want the cheapest price, they're going to give you the California minimums, which is $15,000, a bodily injury per person in an accident, $30,000 total that the company will pay out for the accident, and $5,000 is for property damage. So I look at that and I said, so you save $10 a month, but do you really know what you just purchased? So in that scenario, if you purchase the California minimum liability limits that you legally need to drive on the road, and you hit somebody else's car and you're 51% or more at fault, that means your insurance company is only going to pay out, the maximum they'll pay out is $5,000 to the other party. So let's say you hit somebody's car and it's worth $10,000. Your insurance company they have a contract with you. It's like, oh yeah, it's your fault. We're going to pay. Here's our check for $5,000. That person has not been made whole. So now they are going to come after you for the other $5,000 to get their car fixed personally. And that is personally in the state of California. You might be like, Judge, I don't have $5,000 right now. They're like, well, if you own a home, they can put a lien on your home until you pay that judgment. If you have a job, they can garnish your wages until that judgment is paid off. And then they can also, and they can sue you. So, yeah.
I did not know that.
Yes.
I didn't know any of that.
And that's why, when people call in and they're used to, you call a 800 number, okay, yeah, let's get you the cheapest price. It's going to be the California minimum limits, but they don't understand what does that actually mean. So you're still paying insurance every year, but are you really paying for it? So, so we're going to go touch a little bit more into the auto. So this is the bottom of the pyramid, right? Property and liability. So, so let's go talking a little bit more into the auto. So that's your liability protection. And really what I look at on the auto portion of your insurance is, so you're like, well, how much liability do I actually need on my auto insurance? So I look at it as how much assets do you have to protect? Because really that's what you're protecting. Liability is what you will have to pay. And these court cases happen every day. Claims are made every day. If you're in an auto accident and you're 51% or more at fault, you are now responsible for paying for the other person's property damage, which is the damage you caused to their vehicle. Car repairs have skyrocketed. A little bumper that used to be $500 to replace. I mean, if somebody's bumper has to be replaced now, you're looking probably like $2,000.
Right, because it has sensors and all kinds of things.
All kinds of fancy electronics on there. Yes. So we're looking at what your liability protection. So you have to pay for the other person's property damage. You are also responsible if somebody is injured in that accident. You're really looking at medical expenses. So if somebody's injured and let's say they had a knee injury, you're now responsible for their medical bills from that knee injury. So they might have to go get x-rays, emergency room visit, get x-rays, physical therapy, time off of work you could be responsible for. And then on top of that, their pain and suffering. It adds up quickly. So if you have, remember we talked about that California minimum liability, $15,000. If you, I don't know if you've ever seen a medical bill. Sometimes if we have insurance, you might actually see the medical bill, but medical bills are pretty pricey. So you're looking at, if you do an emergency room visit, you have physical therapy. I mean, that's easily going to be over $15,000 just for medical bills alone. Then on top of that, it's the person's time off of work that they are entitled to, and their pain and suffering. So that's why I'm saying, and especially if you own a home or you have assets, you have retirement, you have money in that you saved up, you want to make sure that your assets are protected. Because like I said, you can put a lien on your home in California. They can garnish your wages. And so that's why I look at the devastation versus aggravation. Aggravation, the biggest part, right, in auto insurance especially is like, oh, is my car going to get fixed? I mean, yeah, that's a big part of it. Do you have collision coverage? Yeah. And if you damage your car, that can be fixed. $3,000, $5,000, maybe $20,000. Total your car, maybe a new car, totaling your car, $30,000. But your livelihood, I also feel like your liability is a big portion of what you need to protect because that's your assets. And you don't want one bad claim or accident to jeopardize your home, your wages, and your savings. And so that's why it's so important to really look at what do I have, what's on my auto declaration page, right? What's on my auto ID card? What coverages do I have? So it's, I know people want to have the cheapest insurance, but I always say, cheap is, cheap. When we look at cheap, is cheap really a good word? I really look at what's the best value for your insurance, right? You need to have the best value for your insurance protection plan. So the first line, that's liability. We talked a little bit about that. So that, California minimum, $15,000 of bodily injury per person, $30,000 total accident. That means if there's more than one person in the car accident, that was injured, the most they'll pay out for one car accident is $30,000, and then only $5,000 for property damage. These minimum liabilities, I don't recommend for anybody. If anybody has it in my agency, it's just because that's what they really wanted. And I was like, they've had a conversation with me, and they know that they're pretty much, I say, you're pretty much self-insuring, and that's the risk that you chose to take. So, so look at your liability limits, look at your assets, and say, hey, if a really bad accident happened, am I really protected? I'm paying this insurance monthly? Is that really protecting all of my assets and everything that I worked really hard for?
Wow. Okay. So I have to wait. Let me I'm going to put so I can see you.
Okay. You want me to stop sharing for a second?
Well, no. You don't have to stop sharing. Okay. But I do want to jump into the chat too real quick. But so I will admit that I have no idea what any of my coverages are.
You're not the only one. You're not the only one. I
handed it over to my husband as something I don't have to think about. And I don't know if I know he does not pick through it. He just makes sure it's paid. So I have no idea. And now so I knew that we could be underinsured, but looking at just what you just taught us, I have a feeling we are. I need to correct that right away. But I wanted to jump.
Especially if you own a home. I mean, you think about that's a major asset, especially in the state of California.
Yeah.
That you want to make sure it's protected.
Right. Right. Yeah. You grabbed me too in your presentation when you were talking about, you have that foundation, but at the very top is the legacy. And if you don't take care of those basics, there will be no legacy for your children.
Exactly.
And for your nieces and nephews.
Exactly.
That's gone if you don't take care of this.
Right. One bad accident, a litigation, a lawsuit could take away, what you worked hard for and the legacy that you were intending to leave for your loved ones. Yeah.
Well, I was just pausing in that moment so that so we can really get that. So to the chat, we just Lisa was just saying I missed it. I'm sorry. She was just giving you a virtual hug. We all miss each other. Everyone that's in the chat, here is the contact information for Alicia Cook. I will put it up to the screen again. Lisa was saying that your bio is pretty amazing and you are a servant to the community. Yeah, I call it a servant leader is what I think we are. Yeah. We're leaders, but it's all about how we can make our community better. And that is absolutely you. Well, hello, Renelle. How are you? She says hello to the ladies.
Hello.
And Tamari says that she is really excited about the conversation about various insurance needs. Tamari is a best-selling author, and she just released her second book. Tamari was saying that she's had the same issue. She was hit by someone that was uninsured. And she said she put a lien on their house.
That's right.
Okay, I'm not laughing.
That's right. No, and that's what happened. And she brings up a very good point too, which I talk to my clients about. So it's your liability protection. And also on your own policy, you can also get what we call uninsured and underinsured protection, which I always recommend. And that's exactly the situation she was going through when somebody hit her, not even her fault, right? But how many people do not do the right thing? And that might be that person that was irresponsible enough to hit you, that was also irresponsible enough to be driving without insurance. And so if you have uninsured motorists and underinsured motorist protection on your own policy, in that situation, you can protect yourself even if somebody else is not doing the right thing. And I always recommend that, meaning that if you're hit by somebody and we know who hit you, and we can prove that they did not have insurance. And that's just as easy. I always tell people, always get the license plate number, because we can always run the license plate number and figure out who the registered owner of that vehicle is and determine if they had insurance. And if it's determined they do not have insurance, or they're underinsured, maybe they only have $5,000 of liability protection, and you have $12,000 of damage to your car, then your policy would make you whole again with your uninsured and underinsured motorist protection.
Oh, okay.
And that happened to me. I had somebody hit me, lost control, driving too fast in the rain, spun out of control, hit me. She spun across the double yellow lines, came over into my lane and hit me. And my car was totaled. I think I had a Nissan Maxima at the time. It was totaled, and she had the $5,000 of property damage protection, but my Nissan Maxima was more than that. So fortunately, I had the uninsured motorist protection, so State Farm was able to make me whole with my car, and then they proceeded to go after her personally.
Oh, wow.
They will do that. They will. They're gonna try to get something back.
Well, the thing is, it's one thing to hear the story, and it's another thing, for you to tell us, and then to have these real life examples.
Real life examples. Yes.
It really does. Really does say something. And so Dr. Alums, hello. I miss you, by the way. So she says she's just joining right now. She heard that there's a need to cover expenses, but how much should someone carry for liability?
So really, that's the thing. It's like, that's why it's an individual education process. So you should really be with an agent that's going to take the time to run through that with you. And what we can do, what I can do with my clients, is a little liability worksheet, like how much retirement do I have to protect? How much do I have in my bank account, my savings account? How much is my home worth? And how much of it do I own versus how much the bank owns of it, right? That's my asset. And so it really adds up quickly. So even, which will go into another line that comes into this liability insurance, is if you own a home in California, more than likely you're going to need what we call umbrella protection.
Right.
And that's an additional 1 million. It starts off 1 million, but it can go as high as whatever your assets go, 2 million, 3 million, 5 million, 10 million, however much assets you have acquired. That's really what you want to protect. You want that protection. You want State Farm or whatever insurance company you're with to write the check if the accident does happen. And not that it comes out of your legacy, right? Your legacy planning.
Right.
And so you really need to add all of that up and then determine how much do I need $1 million umbrella or $2 million umbrella. And a lot of people, it's like, oh, $1 million umbrella, this policy must be really expensive.
No.
I would tell you that umbrella policies are probably one of the best value policies that any insurance company offers. For $1 million umbrella, let's say you own one home, maybe 2 cars, 2 drivers, decent driving records. I mean, really, you can get $1 million umbrella protection plan for like $18, $20 a month. It's not an expensive policy, and it just gives you so much peace of mind that you know that you're protected in case that accident does happen, that your assets are protected. Let the insurance company write the check.
$18 a month
for $1 million easily.
Honey, we need an umbrella policy.
And a lot of times with bundling and multi-lining, which I know State Farm, we do it, and a lot of insurance companies do it. A lot of times when my clients layer on, they do their home and their auto and their umbrella policy together, they get multiple line discounts on their underlying policies. So it does not end up being that much more of an investment to make sure that you're properly insured and protected.
Okay. I love it. Okay, you've given us some steps, some actions to do. Dr. Lum says, yeah, she loves that umbrella policy. Good to know. Good to know. Okay, well, let's. Renelle says we just bought our home. Should we review our coverage?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, home insurance, should we go ahead and go into
Yeah,
that one?
let's go
Okay.
back. Let's go back.
So home insurance, like I said, we start looking, especially in California, that can be one of our biggest assets. And you definitely want to make sure that is properly insured and protected. Um, you know, we're living in the wildfire state, right? Um, Even in Solano County, there was I got evacuated this year. Many people got evacuated, and it's just something that we want to make sure that we're properly protected and properly insured. Um, when we write a home at State Farm, I will take time. I'll tell a client, we're going to need about 20 to 30 minutes to go through the details of your home. And we plug it into a estimating tool, the same tools that contractors use to find out, what's a good replacement cost value for your home.
Mhm.
So I don't want to just, it's not necessarily the sales cost of the home, what you purchased it for. You might have got a deal, right? But we were looking at what if your home were destroyed, if your home was destroyed, what would a contractor charge you to rebuild that home? So we plug
Whoa.
in the details, what type of floor coverings you have, what type of, do you have hardwood floors? Do you have granite countertops? Do you put in crown molding? All of that can make a difference in how much it's going to cost to rebuild your home, like, how it was before the loss. So you can have two identical homes, two identical floor plans, right? They say both homes are 1,500 square feet, but they can be a totally different replacement cost depending on what you put inside of your home versus what your neighbor put inside of theirs. So if you've gone into your home and you've updated, the bathrooms and floor coverings and, cabinets and counters, your replacement cost is going to be a lot different than your neighbors who could have all the original material still. And so that is why it's very important to go through your home coverage and know what you're insured for. Sometimes people are like, "Why did my home go up?" I'm like, "Well, actually, the premium, the premium did go up, but it's because, like with State Farm, we'll pace up to kind of keep up with cost of inflation, coverage protection on your home, and a lot of companies will do that. And it's really up to you. If you have a mortgage on your home, it's up to you and your mortgage company on how much insurance you have on the home. But it's
Mhm.
definitely something and it's good. I tell my clients it's good for us to kind of review it rewrite it, but it's good to review it every couple of years. Because if you've done any updating or home improvements, solar panels, I mean, that adds a lot of value, or asset value, but it adds the replacement costs of solar panels are very expensive, and you want to make sure that is included on your home. If that's something you added, it's included on your home insurance, just
Got
for
it.
example. Hmm.
Mhm. Mhm. This is really, really great information. Question about, and I know you have that emergency response background. Do we need to, because we live in, would you call it you said a fire, what did you call it? A fire?
The wildfire state of California.
Yeah. Do we need to have some type of special insurance to cover smoke? There's been times where our house has gotten so smoky and it was in the walls, and I was like coughing for,
Mm,
and even had a change with my voice because I felt
wow.
like the smoke was in my throat. And should we have, we had a guest a few months ago, Pam Bortani, Vice Mayor
Hmm.
Van Bortani, and she
Yes.
said, "You know what? You need to have a backup power." I forgot what she called it. She said you can get it right from Lowe's, where you can
Generator.
backup. Mm-hmm. Is that something that is covered in insurance, or no? That's
It,
just part of living in California.
what do you mean, to purchase the generator, or
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh.
not to? It's not covered to purchase the generator. But if you have a generator,
Okay.
and it burns up in a fire, then that's what the insurance would pay for to replace it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. It wouldn't pay for the initial investment of it, but if you have one, and let's say it was damaged by the fire, then that's when insurance would kick in for that.
Got it. Got it. Can we go back to that? We have some really great questions. First, Renell says, I've been with State Farms for a while, but then we have some really great questions about how to shop for, for an insurance carrier. These days, we have so much coming at us. We have things coming in the mail. We can do Google searches. How do we know who is who's the best insurance carrier for us? How do we weigh in, customer service and that type of thing? Like, how do we sort through this?
I mean, you're going to want to make sure, a lot of times people will try to, or companies will try to make it a commodity, right? And it's just like, oh, whoever gives you the best price. And like I said, you could save maybe $10 or $20 a month, but then when something happens and you have a question, you might not be able to get your question answered, right? It's an 800 number. They're on the East Coast. They never pick up the phone. So you just want to make sure that you're with somebody that you're comfortable with, that you trust, right? That is willing to do appointments with you, answer your questions. And it's not just, so it's your choice. It's free market, but I would get somebody that you trust and that you're comfortable with, that is willing to sit down with you and review your coverages. I mean, even right now in the pandemic, we're trying not to do office appointments just to keep my team members safe as well as my clients safe. But I started doing virtual appointments. So I send you a link, I pull up your coverages, we go through it. And you just want to make sure that you're with somebody that you can ask your questions to, that is responsive and will educate you and help you through tough times. So a lot of times people are like, oh, I got some cheap insurance online and da-da-da. I'm like, well, if you have a problem with a claim, are they going to be able to call the claim adjuster on your behalf to try to figure out what's going on? Or are they going to be like, oh, just call this 800 number, work it out yourself. So I mean, you pay for it, right? So you want to make sure that you're getting the service that goes with what you pay for on your premiums each month.
That's real talk. When I bought my house, the I think it was the mortgage company gave us a referral to insurance, and it was so much coming at us. We were just like, okay. And I the same question I just asked you about a generator, and the house smells like smoke, and I feel it in my chest. Like, what's that about? That was 6 months ago, and I've never gotten a call back. I called a few times.
Oh boy. And the truth of the matter is, smoke damage, like with State Farm, homes are insured for sudden accidental losses. So if you have smoke damage to your home, that's a covered loss. That's a covered loss. So it's a sudden accidental loss. So home insurance, it's not I do want to explain, it's not a home maintenance policy, right? It's not, if your roof gets old and it's time to replace it, that's not an insurance claim. That's the cost of owning a home. That's home maintenance.
Okay,
but let's say your roof is brand new. It doesn't happen too much in California. It happens more in other states when I did disaster duty. But if your roof was brand new and a really strong windstorm came and blew the shingles off your roof, that's a sudden accidental loss, and that's something that is covered by insurance. So, one way to think of it is something sudden or accidentally that happens to the home, like a fire. That's where home insurance comes to play. If your fence, here's a prime example, fence, right? Your fence is old, it's 25 years old, it's leaning, it's rotting, the posts are rotting, it's falling over. That's not an insurance claim. That's an old fence that needs to be replaced. But let's say you just put up a new fence 2 years ago and a really strong windstorm comes and blows down that brand new fence. that's a sudden accidental loss where your insurance would come into play.
Thank you for that. Because I've
Mhm.
never, I mean, it makes sense when you say it. Okay. Alicia
Another example.
said, that is about your home maintenance. That is on you. That is not an insurance claim. Get your fence fixed.
Right. But if you had a brand new fence and a strong windstorm came and and if that happens, it probably blew down your fence and a few other neighbors' fences as well. Then you do have an insurance claim. I kind of look at it. Another way to explain that is, your tires on your vehicle. After driving on your vehicle for so long, you have to replace your tires. That's not an insurance claim. That's just regular maintenance of your auto vehicle that, every so often you're going to have to put on new tires on your car, but you don't go and make an insurance claim to get the new tires. I could tell you if insurance paid for home maintenance or auto maintenance, it will be way more expensive than it is today. Way
That
more
makes
expensive.
sense.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. Let's see. We have a previous guest, Miss Sheila Tyson. She loves your information.
Hi, Miss Sheila. I love hearing her speak too.
Yeah, oh my goodness, she's so funny.
She
She's
is.
informative and funny.
She is.
And so I don't know. We have I see we're talking about mortgage insurance, I believe. Do you do mortgage insurance?
When you're saying mortgage insurance, are you talking about I'm not sure you're talking about PMI. If your mortgage, if you don't owe or you own less than 20% of your home, I'm not sure if that's mortgage insurance I'm talking about.
I
Or you're
think,
talking about I'm not sure. Yeah.
clarification.
Clarification.
Oh, she says clarification.
Yeah.
I think what she means is if someone, if you pass away,
Gotcha.
is there insurance that pays off your mortgage?
That's life insurance. So yes, so there is. I look at term insurance as being mortgage insurance. There was a insurance out there. It's called a mortgage insurance. Really, it's a decreasing term life insurance policy, meaning that it's good for a certain term period. And usually your mortgage is for a certain term period, like 30 years, for instance. And so a mortgage life insurance policy, what happens is over time your mortgage goes down, and so does the death benefit on that policy. So let's say if you the first year of a 30-year mortgage you owe 300,000. Next year you owe, let's say 290,000. So your life insurance goes down because what you owe on your mortgage also goes down.
Okay.
I tend to stay away from, though it's a decreasing term, only because of recently what a lot of us Americans do. What do we do? When the rates go down, we do a refinance.
Mm-hmm.
So our term period might change, so we might start another 30-year. And so we don't want a decreasing term. So I'll usually do a level term for the length of the mortgage. So a 30-year term or a 20-year term or a 10-year term if you only have 10 years left on your mortgage. If you want additional protection to make sure your home is paid for if something happened to you prematurely.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So another question is, and yes, that did answer Tamari's Richardson's question. It was about life insurance was kind of more in line. So thank you for that. Dr. Lum says that is it a good idea to have your insurance need all covered by one company?
If it's a reputable company and a financially secure company. And a lot of times you get a benefit because a lot of companies, I know State Farm does it, and a lot of other insurance companies do it in regards to, for instance, if you have your home and your auto together in your umbrella policy, it's a bundling discount. You get additional discounts. And sometimes it's more convenient. We get so busy, but, being able to know that I can go to my agent and I have my life insurance and my home auto my disability, but you do want to make sure that it's a financially sound company. And you can check that with the California Department of Insurance. You can check, insurers, how they, any complaints that insurer may have. You can check financial security on the insurer. So, yeah, you do want to be careful with fly-by-night companies that might be in business one day and out of business the next.
Okay.
And that does happen.
So an established company is a way we should go. Okay. So I know we only have 10 more minutes. Did we get through your presentation?
Real quick, I did want to touch on, so the big thing is, everybody's an individual. So I do recommend, sitting down with your insurance representative and to go over your individual planning, what's important to you. Going over what does each line on your auto insurance mean, which line on your homeowners means, your personal property, how that's protected. We talked a little bit about home, auto, umbrella. One more thing I just want to add in is renter's insurance. So we talked a lot about if you own a home, but a lot of us might not own a home yet in California, especially being so expensive, but we might be renting. And another best valued policy is a renter's policy. So if you're renting, you still need protection for your personal property. And if you have a renter's policy, it covers your personal property anywhere in the world. So a lot of, sometimes if you're renting, maybe you're renting a smaller place and you had a larger place before, you might have stuff at your new home, you might have stuff in storage. A renter's policy covers your personal property, whether it's with you in your home or in a storage unit. If it's stolen, vandalized, it catches on fire, burns up. When we talked about in my bio, I used to be a fire claim adjuster. Mm-hmm. And the worst part of the reason why I wanted to go into agency, because it broke my heart. If we go out to a fire and it was maybe an apartment building, the owner of the building typically had insurance. So we're out there, we're writing checks for emergency board up and this and that, debris removal, the tenant's items. So if a fire department goes in and they're putting out a fire, they're just going to start throwing stuff out in the yard, right? To get the combustibles out. And that's your personal belongings. That's your clothes, your furniture. And the saddest thing is to see people trying to sift through, seeing what they could salvage out of smoked and burned, their personal belongings that are just thrown out in the front of the yard. Now, if they had a renter's policy, the landlord's policy does not cover your personal items inside that home that you moved into that home. So that's why you need your own renter's protection to cover your personal belongings so that you can get your check. So you can go to a hotel that night and go get some, pajamas, toothbrush, and then you can start replacing all your personal items that you lost in that fire. A renter's policy costs some money, depending on how much protection you need, can go from as low as $10 a month, up to, whatever you need to protect, $20, $25, $30, $50 a month. If because I know a lot of high-end people that for whatever reason don't want to buy a home right now, but they have a lot of nice stuff that they need to protect. So it just depends on how much personal property you need to protect. So I highly encourage you to get a renter's policy if even if you don't own a home, to protect your personal property.
Right.
Yeah.
Awesome. Was that the end of your presentation, or did you want to tell us anything else?
So I just say putting your insurance and financial plan together can be overwhelming and can be it's going to take some time, but I say take it in baby steps. And that's why I created this pie. So we talked about, filling at the bottom of our pyramid, making sure your property and your liability is properly protected. You want to make sure you have proper life insurance if something happened to you prematurely. If you became disabled for any reason, what type of disability insurance do you have? Does your job offer you any? Are you self-employed and you need to be protecting yourself? Healthcare. What kind of healthcare benefits do you have? What are your deductibles, your co-pays, your co-shares? long-term care, what happens to us when we need assistance with the daily living activities of daily living? Do you have an emergency savings? You might need that to pay your deductible, right? If you got into an accident and you have a $500 deductible, do you have that saved so that you can get your car fixed? That's your share of the loss, your deductible. We kind of didn't go into that, but that's something to talk to your insurance representative about. What are my deductibles? Debt management. So these go to the bottom of the pyramid. So we want to make sure you have emergency savings. You want to make sure that you're paying off your debt. Do you have a plan to do that? And if you're a business owner, whether you run a business out of your home or have a storefront, is your business, your livelihood properly insured? So it's a little overwhelming, but you just take one piece of pie at a time.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would say. And you want a representative that's going to be able to do that for you.
Well, you took care of my business insurance. Thank you very much. Again, amazing customer service. And there's just something about having someone on the phone with you that really wants to understand your business. I remember you saying, this is what I think I know about your business, but what you tell me, and here's the questionnaire,
Right.
and then you were able to kind of parrot back. I knew you understood exactly, and you were asking about growth and what I saw in the future. And I have a policy that I'm not worried about, because I really felt like you listened.
Right. Absolutely. That's important. That's important. Listening is the biggest key.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah. And actually, it's time for me to talk to you about it again, because I think it's another little
time to do a review.
It's time for a review. It's time for a review. So people should contact you if what if they just say, I don't know if I have a good policy or not. Do you look at policies and say, this is a good one, stay where you are?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And I will do that. A lot of times when I give somebody a quote, I'm like, what do you currently have? Send me over your current deck page and let's do a review of it. And if it's a better value and it's, same protection and a better value, I'm going to let you know that. Or if you're missing some things, I'm going to let you know that too.
Mm-hmm.
Or some things to be concerned about.
Okay. And they would do that with, do that with their auto policy,
Mm-hmm.
Their home, their
Yes.
renter's insurance,
Mm-hmm.
and their business insurance?
Absolutely.
Okay. And that's it. That's all the services you have, or do you have everything was in the pie?
I do have everything that was in the pie. So I do, we're comprehensive life insurance company. I have a team of licensed team members. They help me with all the property and casualty and claims and payment plans. And then I personally do life insurance for my clients, do financial planning, retirement planning. Yeah. So.
Awesome. And I see, I can't catch, the stream is going so fast. I can't catch where, when someone asks, how do I see replays? Because we, of course, have Sheila Tyson. She had a very popular episode last week. Where do you find those episodes? You can go to a website that we just launched, www.turningpointwithkpatrice.com, or if it's been within the last week, 2 to 3 weeks, we also just launched www.facebook.com /Turning Point with K Patrice. So you can go there and so Alicia's replay will be there. Sheila Tyson's replay is there, but the replays from a month ago, they're not there now. What we're doing is just sharing it there and, repopulating it. But you can find everything at Turning Point with K Patrice, our brand new spanking website that I love. But I want you, Alicia, to give that final call to action to how to reach you.
Well, being in the pandemic, we have broadened, but definitely you guys can give my office a call. My licensed team members are there ready to assist you at 707-644-5225. You can send us an email. You can go to our website. And from the website, you can click onto the email to email us directly. So whichever you prefer, call. We are preferring for in-office appointments right now just to keep everybody safe. We're trying not to do as many of those, but I am setting up virtual appointments. So I can send you a link and we can, walk through. I can present my screen and do everything like we're sitting right in front of each other. Modern technology.
Modern technology.
Yes.
We are embracing it. We are
Yes.
keeping everyone safe and happy.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, this has been so much fun. It's not going to be so much fun for my husband because I'm about to go get him and say, "Can you pull out our stuff? Send this stuff over to Alicia."
Just do a quick review.
A quick review, stressless.
Yes.
But we need to make sure we have everything.
Absolutely.
Yes. Okay. I think we've actually caught up with the stream finally. I think we finally caught up. Awesome. Oh my goodness. Well, I'm just going to put you into the green room for just a minute.
Okay.
But I would like to say just publicly that I'm just so happy to have you on and for you to just teach us all about our policies and just get us aware that we need to look at it and we need to make sure we're not underinsured.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me. My pleasure.
The pleasure is mine. Oh my goodness. So another episode of Turning Point with Kay Patrice. I am so excited to be doing this program. We have some other great programs coming up. I do not have them in front of me and I'm going to miss one of them. So I'm not even going to do that to myself. But hold on. Nope. I'm not even going to do that to myself because I know I'm going to miss somebody. So just hang in with us. We will be back this Thursday. Today is Tuesday. We're going to be back Thursday. We have a blackout date tomorrow. And we'll see you at Turning Point with Kay Patrice. Hold on for that exit. Hold on. You're going to like it.
Thank you to another episode of Turning Point with Kay Patrice Williams.
Something better is always possible if you're willing to work for it and fight for it.
Don't forget to subscribe, like, and leave a comment. And never miss a podcast or live stream by visiting our website, imkpatrice.com, or connecting through social media at IamKPatrice on all platforms.